Ahoy hoy, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I would continue on what I was talking about in the last video. And I began to mention how my ankles were bothering me, or at least the left, or the right one is now, and how it's affecting my dance emotionally as well as physically. Now let me give you guys a background. Back in 1996, when I was 14, I went skiing and I had a little fall. It wasn't anything serious. It wasn't bad enough where I had to go to the doctors or anything, but I'm beginning to wonder if I should have gone to the doctors. Because I landed in a really weird way when I fell. I'll just give you guys a taste of what it looked like when I fell. Okay?
Okay, quick recreation.
Let's see. My knees were like this, but my feet were apart, because keep in mind, the skis were still on, and I landed like that. Now that we're caught up, and I apologize if you guys saw a huge glance at my cleavage. But I was trying to recreate what it looked like when I fell. And the thing is, I don't exactly remember how I fell. Like, I remember falling backwards, but I don't remember hurting my head much. And I think I just lost my balance and went backwards. And I think because I was trained in karate, I knew how to fall a certain way, because there's been times when I've fallen before and my arm always comes out to prevent me from hitting my head, or I fall backwards, but I managed to keep my head above the ground so I don't hit it, because, yeah. But my legs felt weird afterwards. But I have a few aunts that ski a lot, and they always say that their legs are sore after they go skiing, so that's what I kind of pass that off to. In hindsight, when I think back on it, maybe I should have gone to the doctors after I got back from the ski trip, and I went on the ski trip with my Girl Scout troop at the time. And so I think that's actually the cause of why I started having trouble with my legs. Not my legs so much, but my knees and my ankles eventually. And it didn't help that I was dancing and doing karate all those years. So yeah. So like a few months after the ski problem, or the ski incident, my knees began to hurt, both of them. But I used to pass it off as, okay, maybe it was really dancing, because we did a lot of stuff on the floor, and when you like say do certain things on the floor and dance, it can hurt your knees. So I started wearing knee pads, and they didn't really start getting on my nerves until maybe my senior year of high school, when I was like 17/18 years old. And in March of that year, in 2000, I finally went to go see I'm probably gonna fuck this up, ophthalmologist, or someone who works on joints and stuff. I don't know how to actually say it. I see the word in my head, but sometimes what I see in my head doesn't match what comes out of my mouth, so I'm not gonna bother, but you know what to look for if you look it up. So anyway, he's like, you seem to have a torn meniscus in your right knee, and you seem to have tendonitis in your left knee. So he scheduled an MRI. I got one, and it turns out that there was in fact a torn meniscus in my right knee and a tendonitis in my other knee. Now the tendonitis can go away on its own, because tendonitis usually comes up if it's overused or something. And because I was having issues with my right knee, that's why my left knee started hurting. And actually, I think this is the start of why I started having issues with my right ankle, beginning in, I would say, 2018. Now, if you don't know, I got surgery on my left ankle just last year, and the surgery on my right knee was back in 2000, so they were like 19 years apart. But anyway, going back to 2000, I found out that I was getting surgery on my right knee because it's not something that can be fixed on its own. Unlike the tendonitis, once the stress stuff starts going away, it gets better on its own. And I haven't had trouble with that knee in a long time. I have trouble with my right knee occasionally, but it's not as bad as it used to be. But anyway, I found out that I was getting surgery in March of 2000, but I wasn't going to get it until after Nationals in July, and because I didn't want to quit dance or anything like that. But even though I didn't quit dance, I would be lying if the last few months of dance were I would be lying to say if I didn't have a good time during that time. The pain was actually increasing a lot. It's almost like my knee was like, ooh, I wonder how much more I can give her pain before I finally get fixed, kind of thing. And of course, it messed with my mind. I don't want to say went through exactly the same stages as you would go through with death, but it kind of felt similar. First, I was going through like anger, like, oh, I can't believe I have to go through this. Why would I have to go through this? Do I have to go through this? Now, here's the thing. I was 18 years old at the time. I was already a legal adult when I made this decision. My mom did not make this decision for me. I made it on my own. And then I began to second guess myself. I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. I would have to give up dance and all this other stuff. Because after Nationals, like I said, I'll get the surgery. And then the recovery from the surgery takes about 6 months. So I wouldn't be able to go back to dance class or dance competition. And at that point, I thought my dancing was over at that point. And then, even though I didn't quit yet, the emotional toll of what I was going to do began to poison my mind, basically. I began to feel, it's not that I didn't give it my all, but anyone who's ever gone through an injury, whether you're an athlete or you're a cheerleader or you're a dancer or you're something that involves, performing in front of people or whatnot, you know that you go through something when you know you're getting surgery and you're wondering if I'm going to be the same way afterwards. And then you start going through all these scenarios like, oh, what if I can't dance again? Or, what if I'm not good as I used to be? And yada, yada, yada and stuff. But at the same time, I could not stand for more than an hour without being in pain. And at the time, I was working too. I actually did have to drop out of one dance. I may have not quit dance, but I did have to drop out of a number. And only because there was a lot of floor work. And I know there was no way in hell I would be able to keep up. And I know it would make the damage worse as we got along. So for the first time ever, I had to tell my dance teacher, I cannot do this number. Because if I do this number, I'm most likely going to mess up during competition. And I don't want to do that to my group. I don't want to hurt myself any more than I already am. I mean, because keep in mind, I was already pushing myself a lot to stay in dance. Now, I wasn't told by the ophthalmologist or whatever to quit dance or anything. I mean, he said I could still stay in dance and stuff. Because at the time, we thought the fix was going to be minimal and all. So anyway, I was going through the physical aspects of it. And when the pain got too much, and it would just, sometimes I'm in certain amounts of pain, I get mad. And on top of the madness, and this especially was the case sometimes when I was in dance class, I would actually start to feel like, why the hell do I even care? I mean, I didn't say this out loud to anybody. So this might be a little bit surprised if they see this and hear this, but there were times when I was in dance class, and I think it was mostly in ballet because ballet was my least favorite genre to do. You guys know. I mean, I've talked about this before in my ballet rant vid. But when I was taking classes, sometimes like ones that really challenged me, I remember thinking, why the hell am I giving a shit so much? I'm not going to be dancing after nationals. I'm not going to be dancing in the start of the year, or, the start of the year is technically in September or whatever, we resume dance. And, oh my God, I mean, for anyone who is an athlete or does dance or anything that's gone through an injury, you know the emotional gymnastics you go through. It's a little bit soul destroying. But anyway, I had the surgery. I don't regret it at all. I realized once I had it that I made the right decision. I made the right decision to wait to end my dance career on a high rather than a low. Because I feel like if I would have quit in the middle of the season, that I would have become very bitter. I'm somebody that likes to push myself to a point. I would have made a good gymnastics, except I had too big of a breast, and that was the case since I was 11. And so, not to mention, I don't have a really good arch in my back when I do anything with my back, like back walkovers or anything like that. And I haven't done a back bend in a long time, so I don't know how that would be anymore. But, I have like a gymnast attitude in a way. Like, I would push myself even if I was in pain or anything. And I know that if I would have quit because of the pain in my knees, that I would have regretted it and been very bitter and stuff. And be like, how can you let this beat you and stuff? So, and I admit, I'm kind of like in a similar boat, like 20 years later. I have to do the math real quick. Yeah, 20 years later. Because, it was 20 years ago that I had surgery on my knee. But 20 years later, I'm now in a similar boat than I was when I was 18. And this time it's to do with my ankles. And I hurt my left ankle initially, or what I thought was when I was doing, what the hell was I doing, squat thrust or something? And the funny thing is, whenever I did squat thrust, and if it's the same thing, it's when, I don't even, hold on, let's see, I'll give you a demonstration. Again, sorry about the, okay, you would do like this, and I'm probably going to hurt the shit out of myself, but here you go. You would squat on the floor, you'd take your leg out like that. I'm keeping my one leg right here for obvious reasons. And you would come back and you would stand up. And I think that's what a squat thread is. If I'm not, I'm sorry. You can tell me what it is actually and all that. Anyway. So I thought I hurt my left ankle initially from doing that. And of course the pain just kept going and going, and I thought at first it was a pulled muscle, but it didn't go away, and then my physical therapist thought it was a muscle strain, and nope, it wasn't that. So eventually I got an MRI in 2017 that I got the MRI, and it showed that I had split my tendon in my left ankle. And I think I did the same thing the other one. But the other one started hurting before I had surgery on the left ankle because it was getting overworked and stressed out. Kind of like how my left knee was when I had my right meniscus torn in my right knee. So now I think I have a split tendon in my right ankle as well. or it's this, that ski accident that I probably injured myself, didn't realize it because I didn't go to the doctor like I should have. And 20 years, well, not 20 years ago, but like, excuse me, I have to use my hands for math. I count on my fingers to deal with it. So, that was 20 years, 24 years, I think, yeah. So 24 years ago, sorry about that. So 24 years ago, yeah, it's biting me in the ass 24 years later that I didn't go see a doctor after that little fall I had. And the thing is, if it was serious, I think my Girl Scout leaders would have recommended the same thing, but I didn't feel, there was no excruciating pain. I mean, it was like sore pain, and I did, like I said, my aunts ski a lot, and they said that your legs are sore after you ski a lot, so that's what I thought. And it was my first time skiing, too, so. But, anywho, as I said, I am in the same boat like I was 20 years ago. Debating if I should continue to dance or if I'm... Basically, let me say this. I don't think my confidence was wrecked that much pre-operation and post-operation with the knee like it is right now with the ankle. And I think because I didn't have any problems with any of my other body parts after I had surgery on my right knee, unlike now where I'm beginning to have problems with my right ankle. Plus, I don't know if this is true for everybody. If you're in your 30s and older, maybe you can chime in on this. But I have a funny feeling when you get older, you start comparing yourself to how you were when you were younger when it comes to certain things. Like, I'm doing that a lot right now with my dancing. I'm like, I could do so much better. I used to do a hill stretch all the way up to here, and now I can't do it anymore. And of course, a lot of gymnasts are probably thinking to yourself, sweetie, I haven't been able to do what I've done for either years to decades, and I'm either younger than you are, or I'm your age, or whatnot. And that's understandable because there's a lot more injuries to deal with in gymnastics than in dance. But yeah, although the funny thing is for me is I'm a swimmer, and I feel like I've gotten stronger as a swimmer as I gotten older than when I was like on the swim team at age 10. I think I sucked more back then than I do now. But then again, I'm more of an endurance swimmer than a competitive swimmer. I like to push myself to see how far or how long I can do it. And by the way, my record at this moment is I've done 2,500 meters, which is 1.5 miles. And that's because I either swam 100 laps in a 25-meter pool or I did 50 laps in a 50-meter pool. So that's the most I've done. But I normally do when I go swimming, like yesterday, I swim for 2,000 meters, which is still over a mile. And I did 80 laps in a 25-meter pool to accomplish that. Well, I have to do 40 in a 50-meter pool because it is different. Trust me, it is a lot different. But having said that, when I've done my TikTok videos, because one of the major reasons why I joined TikTok was to do dancing mainly. And when I see some people doing dances, like doing shuffles and stuff, I'm like, oh, I want to do that. And then I try it. I just can't do it anymore. It's, for me, painful. And not only that, but I don't feel like I can do it as well as I used to. And that takes a shot at my confidence. And, of course, a lot of people are going to say, Lindsay, you're literally 2 years shy of being 40. Of course you're not going to be good as some of these younger TikTokers and stuff. I mean, they're still young enough to be agile and can really move. I mean, you've been injured. You're still injured. Not to mention, you're still doing this after having 2 kids. So, yeah. I mean, because I couldn't do much dancing when I was pregnant with the kids. I definitely didn't do hill stretches when I was pregnant with the kids, I tell you what. So yeah. So if you see my TikTok videos and you feel a certain vibe off me, it's because I feel like my confidence is taking a nosedive in the last 3 years of my dancing because I'm injured and I'm still getting injured. I mean, okay, minus the problem that I have with my ankles, or my left ankle acts up sometimes when I dance too. But if it's not my ankle, it's my right knee again. If it's not my right knee, it's the shit in the back of my leg, like down here. I started having problems with that, although it doesn't hurt me all the time. It only hurts me when I'm stretching, especially doing a heel stretch or doing a split. And what happened was, I'll link it into the description box, but I was doing something on TikTok where I kept doing heel stretch and kept doing that. And I hurt the day afterwards in the back of my leg. So, but that pain hasn't gone away every time I do a heel stretch and split now. So now I'm beginning to wonder if I did something there too. I mean, here's the thing, guys. There's a reason why a lot of people don't continue to be dancers or gymnasts or anything after they reach a certain point. Now, should you stop doing those things? Absolutely not. I'm not quitting dance. I'm not giving up dance. But there's some aspects that I might have to give up, unfortunately. Because your body gets more prone to injury as you get older. Your body has trouble recovering once you get older. As much as I like to think that I'm so young physically, and I look young still. I don't look like I'm 38. At least in my opinion, I don't look like I'm 38. The reality is my body is 38 years old. It's going to be 40 in 2 years, believe it or not. And as much as I want to push myself, like Askana Chutavina did in gymnastics, I mean, she's like 7 years older than I am. So she's like 45 right now. And before the Olympics got canceled in Tokyo this year, she was qualified to be in it. And it would be her, let me think, 92... 96, 2000, 2004, 2008, 2012, 2016. It'll be her 8th Olympics, guys. No gymnast has ever been in that many Olympics. 2, 3 the most before her. It's 8 now for her. And I'm thinking, God damn, how the hell can she push herself? I mean, and she deals with more injury in gymnastics than I do in dance. So that in itself makes me like, oh, come on. If Askana is, I'm probably fucking up her name. And if you're watching Askana, I apologize. But if she can still do all that shit when she's 45 years old, there's no reason why I can't still do this shit at age 38. But like I said, not a lot of people have the ability to recover fast and heal fast like they did when they were younger. It's an age thing, unfortunately. And, I'm still going to dance, but I have to forewarn people, especially if they're fans of me because I'm a dancer, that I'm going to have to stop doing some stuff eventually because it's getting too painful to do, or I'm injuring myself too much doing it, and stuff like that. So, yeah. And the thing is, I think my lack of confidence has been seeping into my videos too. It's been doing that a lot. And I don't have the confidence like I once did because of the pain and because I feel like I'm in the same boat. I feel like I'm repeating myself at this point. So, yeah. I mean, if you see me on TikTok and you feel like there's something off, I'm probably not hiding my emotions well. Because that's the thing I learned as an empath. And I don't know if it's just me or other empaths, or we all have this issue where it's just, other than knowing how someone feels, we also tend to blast or broadcast our emotions even if we don't want to. Negative ones for me are like the strongest that I broadcast as well as receive. I mean, even when someone's not showing it here, I can feel it off them. And I can feel it off myself when I watch the videos and stuff. And the thing is, some of those videos I post, it was more than one take. And by that point, I was already in pain. And I'm pushing myself to put out a good video. But even though I'm content with what I put out, you can tell that I'm not emotionally happy about it. Because it's like, oh, once upon a time I could do all this dancing without much problems. And I had more problems back then. But here's the thing that I have to keep telling myself. Having a knee injury is different than having an ankle injury. Your ankles are holding your whole entire body up. My knees are only holding up this part of my body. So it's not the whole entire body. And yeah. And the thing is, my right ankle wasn't bothering me for the longest time. But after I started running, because my daughter started learning how to ride her bike, I began to walk with her, and then I would run down the hill to keep up with her to make sure she didn't crash into anything. Trust me, I'm fast in short spurts. But yeah, that's been bothering me, and of course, dance bothers me. I don't think I have any issues with my ankles when I swim, but then again, swimming is said not to affect joints that much, and that's why a lot of people do it, even into old age, you know. But yeah. So if you are someone who has gone through an injury and you're a dancer, gymnast, or whatnot, how did you cope with it? Are you still doing what you used to do, or have you given it up to do something else? Do you, if you've given it up, do you still wish you can do it? If you're a young person, hell, even if you're young and you injured yourself, you know, you can share your thoughts and your feelings about it too, because like I said, I was 14 when all this stuff started with my knees, and I didn't get it fixed until I was 18, which, oh well. Like I said, I like to push myself a lot. So if you like this vid, hit like. If you subscribe, I will be delighted, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye.